Everyone, and thanks for tuning in to my weekly video message. Today is our second video in our series on how to read the news without going nuts. This is a very hard time that we're living in the world. And I know that many of us are pulled to turn off the news and to avoid what's happening in our country and the world. But I also know that we are a community of people who care and who want to stay engaged and who want to be part of turning the tide. That's why over the next few weeks, I want to offer strategies and wisdom from our tradition that I hope can help us stay engaged and can help us stay strong and resilient in the face of everything that's happening. This week, I want to talk about how powerful it is to develop practices that we do regularly that can support our emotional strength and resilience. Because in my experience, in the face of so much that is harsh and uncertain and frightening in these times, having practices that can really strengthen and sustain and regulate us, that we prioritize and that we do regularly, can really help meet everything that's happening with so much more fortitude and resilience. The Hasidic master, the Netivot Shalom, talks about this in such a beautiful way when he teaches that each one of us has an inner Mishkan, a dwelling place for God within us that is also our source of vitality and resilience and connection with the universe. Spiritual practice can help us build up this inner Mishkan. And significantly, it can also help us rebuild our inner Mishkan, our inner source of strength, when it collapses under the weight of suffering and hardship. Spiritual practice is not only a consistent source of strength and resilience, but in those moments where we feel entirely depleted or we feel entirely pulled under by suffering, it can help us rebuild our inner spiritual strength and vitality. There are all kinds of practices that can help us do this. And in my experiences, the spiritual practices of our tradition in particular, that our people have been practicing for thousands and thousands of years in trying times, are particularly fortifying and strengthening. And in my experience, practicing Shabbat in particular is one of the most powerful and fortifying sources of strength and resilience. Over the years that I have been practicing Shabbat, I have really found that bringing in light through lighting the Shabbat candles and the Havdalah candle, and having a break from the news and my email for a full 24 hours, and being in community at services and turning towards light and hope and joy and gratitude as we do during Shabbat prayer, that doing all of this regularly is so strengthening. But I really share that as a way to invite all of us to consider the kinds of practices that we might find fortifying and that we might find strengthening. Maybe it is Shabbat, and if that's the case, I hope you'll join us for services on Friday night and Saturday morning. But maybe it's a different kind of Jewish practice that you find helps give you resilience, or maybe it's another practice entirely. I really want to invite us to reflect this week on what kind of practices can help us sustain our hearts and help us be resilient so that we can really stay engaged in all that's unfolding. As usual, I really hope you'll share your responses to these questions with me. And I'd also love to support you in figuring out the right practices for you. If I can be of support, you can reach me at rabbi@bethtorah.org. I look forward to hearing your responses, and I look forward to connecting.